In the future, strange creatures wipe out 99% of people, forcing the survivors to hide at night. The movie Arcadian starts with these odd monsters suddenly appearing and killing many people. It's like a nightmare, turning the world into a deserted place with very few people left. People start spreading various stories about a deadly disease, a weird purple fog, and even tales of divine punishment. But the truth is, no one really knows what's happening. Let's look at a small town where our character, Paul, is looking for supplies. Just as he finds something useful, air raid sirens sound. Paul doesn't hesitate. He runs, moving through the alleys and avoiding any danger. The town is covered in thick black smoke, but Paul heads straight to an old empty house on the edge of town where his children are waiting. He's all they have. Fast forward 15 years. Paul's sons are grown up. They scavenge during the day as their dad taught them, but they stay inside at night. As dusk approaches, Joseph starts to cover the windows and calls their dog, Rocco, inside. Paul is outside keeping watch until Thomas arrives, late as usual. Paul scolds him, warning him he's in trouble. Thomas says he was helping at a neighbor's farm, but Paul stresses the importance of safety. After dinner, they make sure all the doors and windows are locked. Dinner isn't calm either. Joseph teases Thomas about the scolding, and they start arguing. But Paul stops them quickly, reminding them to act maturely, not like wild animals. Later, as the boys play chess to relax, Rocco starts scratching and growling at something under the floor. It's spooky, like a bad sign. Suddenly there's loud banging at the door. The monsters are back, trying to get in. Paul and Thomas work together to keep the door shut while the house shakes. But then, the noise stops. The creatures leave. During this quiet moment, Joseph reveals that he stayed back to overhear and learn something new. 3 knocks at the door. First, a gentle tap for 10 seconds. Then a loud pounding for 20. And finally, a single, angry slam. Joseph thinks the first knock was a warning. The second, a serious attempt to break in. And the third, just anger. The next morning, the door shows the damage with its scratched and weakened wood. Knowing they need to act quickly, Paul and his sons go out to find wood to make the door strong again. They find what they need and bring it back home. Thomas starts cutting the wood, while Paul checks on Joseph, who's been busy in the barn. After some encouragement, Joseph admits he's been building a car. He's tired of feeling trapped and scared all the time, but he can't get the car to work. Impressed, Paul helps out, makes some adjustments, and, suddenly, the car works. Happy, Paul decides it's a good time to teach his sons how to drive. They drive around for an hour before returning, but there's more to do. The windows need reinforcing too, so Paul sends the boys to the river to find more materials. Thomas is upset. He wanted to visit the farm today, but Paul says making the house safe is more important. Grumbling, the brothers leave in the new car. Along the way, Thomas complains, blaming Joseph for Paul's overprotectiveness, suggesting he's only there to watch over his brother. Annoyed, Thomas gets out near the farm and tells Joseph to come back for him later. Back at the house, Paul finishes with the door and takes a break by a nearby waterfall. As he relaxes, he notices a dark hole in the rocks, a reminder that danger is always close. Meanwhile, Joseph, now alone, goes to the river. He ties himself to the car and goes into an old abandoned ship, hoping to find useful supplies. In an old ship, Joseph finds a locker. Inside, he discovers a picture from a magazine that catches his eye for a moment. However, his surprise turns to fear when a bunch of bugs fly out from some trash nearby. They swarm towards him, and he quickly leaves the ship. Over at the farm, Thomas is helping with the work, but he has another reason for being there. He's come to see Charlotte, the farmer's daughter, and it's clear the two teenagers like each other. Charlotte takes Thomas on a walk across the fields and points out a rope tied to a tree. She tells him that as a child, she was only allowed to play outside while tied to the tree, which let her run around while still following the rules. They spend time making wild guesses about what might have caused the end of the world. As they say goodbye, Charlotte gives Thomas a big hug, knowing it's getting late and night is dangerous. Meanwhile, at the house, Paul is worried because he sees Rocco, the dog, but not his sons. Joseph struggles to start the car he left by the river. After a tense few moments, the engine starts, and he drives away fast. Thomas, trying to hurry and meet his brother, trips and falls into a hidden crevice. When Joseph gets to the farm to pick up Thomas, he doesn't see him and thinks Thomas has already gone home, so he leaves alone. He tells Paul what happened, and Paul decides they need to lock up the house right away while he and Rocco go look for Thomas. In the crevice, Thomas wakes up sore and scared. He uses his lighter for light and is terrified when he sees a creature reaching for him through a hole in the wall. He quickly stabs at the creature's hand with a knife, making it retreat into the dark. But as he moves away, another creature attacks from above, grabbing his face and making it hard to breathe. Just as Thomas feels like he's going to pass out, Paul arrives, pulls the creature off, and quickly deals with the danger. After making sure Thomas is okay, Paul and Rocco find a tunnel leading straight into the crevice. Knowing it's too dangerous to move through the forest at night, they decide to stay in the crevice until morning, blocking the entrance for safety. Soon after, they hear disturbing sounds. The creatures are moving through tunnels below them, pushing dirt at the exit and trapping them inside. Amid Rocco's constant barking and the noise from the ground, Paul acts quickly. He throws a flare into a new hole in the ground just as the creatures try to reach them. The explosion from the flare pushes the creatures back, but also hurts Paul. Back at the house, Joseph feels danger is near. He quickly thinks of a plan and stands by the main door with a rope tied to his chair. Feeling very tired, he pretends to sleep. A creature tests the door, sliding its long nail through a small crack to check inside. When Joseph doesn't move, the creature enters, only to get caught in Joseph's trap. With a quick pull on the rope, a cage falls from above, catching the creature. Happy with his clever trap, Joseph covers the cage with a blanket and falls into a deep sleep. The next day, worried about his dad and brother with no sign of them, Joseph drives the car to look for them. Meanwhile, Thomas manages to open the blocked entrance and helps his injured dad out of the crevice. Hearing the car, Rocco runs to guide Joseph to them. The brothers quickly get Paul into the car and then back home to his bed. While planning their next steps, Thomas accidentally uncovers the caged creature when he lifts the blanket, causing it to panic. Joseph quickly covers it again and explains that the creatures are sensitive to light. They then take care of Paul's injuries, and Joseph talks about how quickly the creature broke in the night before, in just 8 seconds. There's a feeling of doubt in the air. Joseph believes that a second creature got away during the chaos of the previous night. He notices that the creatures are learning faster than expected, suggesting they are quite smart. Thomas thinks that the creatures, possibly seeking revenge, have changed their ways, because according to Charlotte, they normally avoid the farm. Joseph corrects him. It was Paul, not they, who previously handled the creatures. Trying to prove his point, Thomas tries to kill the captured creature, but Joseph stops him, wanting to study it instead. Their struggle lets the creature escape, and it runs to hide under a bed. When it comes out, Rocco's loud barking causes it to change in a scary way. Joseph quickly pins it down, allowing Thomas to cut off its head with an axe. Still looking for answers, Joseph takes the body to the barn to examine it, but can't figure out its structure. Meanwhile, Thomas suggests a new idea. They should move Paul to Charlotte's farm, because it has stronger buildings and real medical supplies. Joseph doubts the willingness of Charlotte's family to help, but Thomas convinces him, and they take Paul to the farm. When they get there, Charlotte's parents confirm Joseph's worries. They say no to helping Paul because they don't have enough medicine. Charlotte tries to help, but fails. However, they agree to let Thomas stay, thinking this will save more resources for Paul and Joseph at their own home. Joseph leaves angrily, and when Thomas follows, they both lose their temper. In the moment, Joseph accuses Thomas of causing their father's serious health issues. Upset by the accusation, Thomas pushes Joseph to the ground and starts to choke him. Shocked by what he's doing, Thomas quickly lets go. Without saying anything, Joseph gets into the car and drives away with their unconscious father, leaving Thomas at the farm. There, Charlotte gives Thomas some proper food and shows him personal items he's never seen before. The two teenagers have a sweet moment and share a kiss, but they are suddenly interrupted by Charlotte's father, who tells her to leave. Meanwhile, on his drive back, Joseph sees sheep running away in fear and spots dirt mounds around, sure signs that the creatures are making tunnels underground. He feels worried as he thinks they might be under the house. Once home, Joseph takes care of his father, and then goes to the barn to get ready for what might happen next. He begins to make the house safer, covering all the windows. While moving around, he accidentally steps on a carpet and finds a hidden hole. It seems the creatures have gotten into the house. Back at the farm, Thomas is caught by Charlotte while he's looking through the kitchen, trying to find medicine for his father. Charlotte helps him and gives him the medicine. Thankful, Thomas hugs her and promises to come back, unaware that someone might have heard their conversation. Thomas tries to run, but before he reaches the gate, a farm worker stops him, pointing a gun and accusing him of stealing. Thomas begs, saying Charlotte gave him the medicine, but no one listens. The farm workers tie Thomas up and take him to the barn, where loud music starts playing to hide the terrible things about to happen. As they hold Thomas's legs and one man gets ready to shoot, the ground suddenly collapses. He falls into a hole, and his shot misses. At the same time, chaos breaks out as a creature jumps out of the new hole. At the main house, the noise wakes up Charlotte's parents. Her father lights a candle and goes to check, only to be attacked by another creature that got inside. During the fight, the candle falls over and starts a fire. The creature jumps from one parent to the other, attacking wildly. The father manages to pull it away, But as the mother runs to find Charlotte, the creature jumps on her. It changes into an even scarier form, spits on her, and delivers a deadly hit. In her room, Charlotte hears the horrible sounds of her parents being attacked. When everything goes quiet, she comes out to a terrible scene, a path of blood leading to the bathroom, where she finds the creature with her mother's dead body. Back at the barn, the men fight against more creatures. As the barn catches fire, the workers fall one by one, and those who escape are chased by more creatures. Amidst the chaos, Thomas, still tied up, manages to knock over the furniture he is tied to, breaking the wood and freeing his hands just in time to deal with the growing fire and the ongoing attack from the creatures. Just as a creature is about to attack Thomas, Charlotte steps in and shoots it, saving him just in time. The teens quickly run outside, and Thomas sees the house on fire. Charlotte tells him her parents didn't survive, and they decide to go to Thomas's house. Meanwhile, Joseph is also struggling. He frantically blocks the hole with furniture to stop the creatures, then checks on his unconscious dad, giving him a gentle kiss before getting ready for more trouble. When the door bursts open, it's not a monster, but Thomas and Charlotte arriving. Joseph admits he needs Thomas's help. Their meeting is brief as Paul wakes up. Taking the medicine, Paul tells his sons to keep fighting to stay alive. Joseph explains his plan. They need to get all the gasoline cans from the barn, while Rocco barks, warning them of danger. The group pulls an old freezer into the house to make it stronger. Thomas and Charlotte work on making the windows stronger, while Joseph gets ready for a last stand by pouring gasoline on a pile of furniture. He places various explosive items on top, including one of his dad's slow-burning cigarettes. The tension rises as the barricade starts to shake, and a creature drops down the chimney into the room with Paul. At the same time, another monster comes out of the hole and enters a doorway, where Thomas surprises it, stabbing it from behind. The creature fights back, but Thomas gets his knife back and kills it with a stab to the head. A third creature goes after Charlotte, but she quickly shoots it down. As Thomas and Charlotte join Joseph to move the freezer into place, the door opens to show Paul, who is injured but has managed to defeat the chimney creature. Paul grabs Charlotte's gun and starts shooting at the floor, trying to hit the creatures below. Despite his best efforts, a large group of monsters rushes toward him in the hallway. Paul kicks the first monster, making the floor shake and causing many of them to fall through. A few are left, but the teens quickly handle them, showing great teamwork that impresses Paul. As the three teens and Rocco run to the freezer, Paul makes a brave choice. He closes the door behind them, staying outside to give them time to hide. Inside the freezer, the group holds on to each other. Outside, Paul is lost in a memory of comforting his children, telling them everything would be okay. Suddenly, more creatures rush in. Paul fights them off as long as possible until the furniture stacked with explosives blows up. The explosion makes the house collapse and catch fire. The freezer, acting like a safe pod, rolls wildly through the mess. When it stops, the teens get out and look for Paul in the ruins. Their search is cut short when a monster attacks them. They run to the car and drive away as the burning creature follows them. Charlotte's bullets don't work, but in a last effort, she hits the creature with her gun as it gets close, making it fall apart. After escaping, the group stops a few miles away, under the night sky, a sight they hadn't seen before because they always hid at night. The next day, they return to what's left of their home. Deciding not to rebuild there, they gather what supplies they can, bury their loved ones, and say their goodbyes. With sad but hopeful hearts, the three teens and Rocco drive off to find a new start, heading for the farms in the valley, ready to begin again. This is where the movie ends.